Sardar Sahab. What does this day mean to you, and how do you actually cherish it?
I think it's a very special day in every sense. Like the AVM rightly said, when we look at other countries that may not be as blessed as we are, and we look at how we achieved where we are today with 76 years of independence, how much has been sacrificed, what cost we've paid as a nation, the families that have lost dear ones, loved ones, with all the this instability we've had in the region, the insurgencies in Afghanistan and Pakistan having to face the aftermath with regards to the illegal immigration, as well as the insurgencies which we had, and obviously with the instability with regards to the local blast which we've had, and it's eaten Pakistan up like a cancer. And despite all these challenges, all the external threats, Pakistan is still able to sustain all the collateral damage and move forward, continue moving forward. It's like getting hit, falling down, and getting back up and striving to move forward.
What do you call it? Resilience,
Resilience
or denial?
Resilience is also Allah's special blessing, and I think sheer commitment, sheer dedication, determination. And as a nation, we've stood strong and faced all the tough times, whether it's the climate change, whether it's natural disasters, and obviously with the geopolitical factors. We've gone through a lot of tormenting times, and yet, alhamdulillah, as a country, we've strived to move forward.
Right, and still we have to actually, I have to ask you, what does it mean to you?
As a Pakistani, I feel great pride. We were born Pakistanis. Had we been born citizens of another country, we would have been there. But since we're in Pakistan, we have to take ownership of this country. I hold a Pakistani passport, and when I go abroad, when people ask me I'm from Pakistan, I tell them a lot more than about myself. I tell them about the country. I try portraying a positive image, and I think that's important for all of us to become ambassadors of Pakistan and tell the world what this country really is about, who we're about, what we're about, and what this country has to offer to the world, so that we're able to open our doors and people can come and see the real Pakistan. That's the only way we're going to move forward.
Let me ask you, Sardar Sahab, because you have actually, you come from entrepreneurial class, and you can actually tell us, where does our weakness lie? Because economy is struggling. The rest, of course, he's right. Our army, armored forces are doing their job really well. I mean, India is, how many times India is bigger, but we caught their pilot and returned him after making him drink our tea, right? But tell me about our economy. Why is it so?
The biggest problem in Pakistan lies in policy, and we've got everything. We have all the human resource required. We have all the natural resources, minerals, everything we need. One of the most beautifully diversified locations in terms of demographics as well as geography. Look at the west, look at the north.
All seasons.
All seasons are there, all the fruits are there, yet policy is what we're lacking. I think with the civilian government, what they failed to achieve is establishing an institutionalized model. It should be irrelevant on who's sitting on the portfolio, as long as the portfolio parameters are defined for it to be followed.
Yeah, but
and that's
we are talking about economy, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We are not merely talking about the state.
It trickles
I'm
down
talking
to
about business community as well.
It trickles down to policy. If the policy is given and the business community is empowered, we will be able to do so much more. So example, today, the policy rate is 23%. If I were to try setting up a new factory or a new plant or a new project, I wouldn't be able to afford it. And that again goes down to the other side of it, that as opposed to investing in circulation of wealth, that money is going into banks where I'm offered a fixed deposit rate of 20% minus tax 15%.
Granted that.
So circulation is not there.
Before that happened, we had to go to IMF.
Yes.
And it was one of their demands, right?
Yes.
So why did we continuously have to go to IMF?
That's the point. So we derailed that vision.
Not only policy, there must be some problem with the economy itself, the business community as well.
Agreed. We derailed ourselves alongside that path of growth in the 1960s when we had established these huge industrial states, and we had planned that we're going to become
and I'm really I really like it when people keep on talking about 60s, but I think we forget that there were two parts of Pakistan at that time. We keep on looking at what was happening in West Pakistan. We don't see it, what exactly was going on in East Pakistan, where taxation was taking place, manufacturing was not.
Yes.
Production was taking place, right? So we cannot call 1960s as an ideal model.
As a nation, we've also failed to realize that the country can't run on its own. We have to contribute. And a classic example today of 2023 is what is tax collection? Not the target, what is the real tax collection willing system? I mean, we were just talking about this off air a while ago, that this is probably the only country in the world where you have a non-filer category, whereas in other parts of the world, a non-filer would be considered as a criminal who's not contributing to the tax system. And similarly, with regards to our current system at the moment with what we have in place, our economy is not able to grow. We're contracting as opposed to expanding. This year we had a negative GDP growth, and next year I'm seeing the same thing. Again, comes down to policy, which again correlates with the businessman mentality. That wealth, which should be in Pakistan, is actually flying abroad to places like Dubai and places like London, because we don't feel there's a conducive environment in Pakistan. Not just the political instability, it's about the economic uncertainties, which is a risk for an investor. The other side is still businessmen like myself that have faith. And this is why we come down to the guide's vision on what he said. Have faith, unity, and discipline. So it's not just faith in the country, but faith in religion itself. And in unity, become one nation first. And discipline is what we're really, really lacking on all fronts. There's no discipline with regards to our rules and regulations which should be followed. They're in paper, but they're not being enforced, whether it's on a government level or on a private level. And this is a whole disconnect. So we need to bridge that gap, and that's going to come with a lot of effort and many years of struggle. It can't happen overnight. Today's youth is far more educated than the previous generation. They're far more proactive. They're far more ambitious. But we need to retain that as opposed to having all the brain drain.
Again, when we actually make a statement like that, we are actually looking perhaps not at demography, right? 65% youth. Yep. We don't know how many are literate, how many are not. You are saying that they are more educated, but perhaps you are talking
67% literacy rate.
Yeah, but you are perhaps talking about the urban,
not the rural. The rural is not there,
you don't know, we don't know what exactly might be the quantum of education there, especially the more educated class, right? But let me actually, thank you very much for your honest answer. That's your take on Pakistani dream.
Look, I think it's about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, which many countries still today don't have it, even though they may portray that it's a free country.
In the West, they are actually trying to pervert the idea of freedom of speech now. The way all of a sudden Nazi speak
is being exploited.
It has become free speech. That becomes a problem.
And obviously a place where you have an equal opportunity in terms of employment, in terms of wealth generation, a place where you feel secure, where you feel pride, and you're proud of whatever you own. You actually do own what you buy, as opposed to having a sponsor behind it. And I think those are some of the benefits that many countries, again, like I said, still today are struggling to achieve in terms of sponsorship and employment, and also in terms of sale of properties. In terms of the ideal environment, Pakistan is obviously lagging behind. We're still not able to have a government education system which is at par with the private setup, or a healthcare system in which basic necessities of the average citizen of Pakistan are there, not just in terms of affordability, but in terms of quality healthcare.
Yeah, but so far you're talking about collective dreams, right? The basics that the state has to offer. But my question was more about the common man on the street. If you're talking to a boy and you're going to market the idea of Pakistan, and that you should stay here and not go abroad, you have to offer some kind of idea or some kind of dream. And I understand that it might be difficult for you to conceive because you're part of the affluent class, but in the West or elsewhere, usually it is thought that the dream was a classless society, where all citizens are considered equal, and then if a commoner wants to be rich, there's always space for vertical mobility. Do you think that we have that kind of space in Pakistan?
It's a hard answer on this, but ideally we don't.
A common man. We don't.
I mean,
practically we don't.
Practically we don't. Ideally we should, but we do not. And unfortunately, the average person, when we reflect on his basic vision, would be to be able to go home, be able to have a decent meal, be able to send his kids to school, be able to pay his utility bills, and live a decent life without having to worry about the
but
income.
That is, very basic, right?
Yeah, and look, it starts from there. If you're able to maintain a decent household, have some savings left over, you're able to plan for something ahead. I mean, we need to set up, an environment where we're offering entrepreneurship to individuals, to students at least, to tell them that this country needs more, job creators and less job seekers.
Let me invert the question. Let me give you two examples. Right? Google was invented in a dorm room, right? Similarly, Facebook. Do you think that in Pakistani dorm rooms we have the capacity that somebody can have, one-hit wonder?
This is what we need, and we can have it. We've told many of the youth that we interact with amongst the academia, because we're trying to bridge this gap with industry and academia. We tell them that we need to look at tried and tested models, go think global and act local.
Yeah.
So implement it and revolutionize it based on the local needs. We don't need to reinvent it. We just need to copy and paste it based on whatever works locally. And that's where there's growth in Pakistan. Pakistan still hasn't, for example, we're looking at Amazon. We still don't have online e-payment portals
Yeah.
established to be able to set up a similar platform. But nevertheless, we still have brands selling using payment on delivery.
Yeah.
So there are alternatives. I mean, this is more like a temporary fix.
Yeah, but that is a long way to
But
go.
it's not stopping you from the growth. So I still feel Pakistan as a developing nation
Yeah,
has that margin, that space available.
So what do you think of the outgoing government's recent VC fund, venture capitalist
Yeah.
fund? Do you think that kind of an idea can actually really create some kind of opportunity?
If it materializes, the previous government, even before this government, also said that we're going to start with an SME fund, and we've always neglected the SME sector.
Yeah,
because
but our problem with SME bank and authorities is that they only tell you about cattle rearing,
Yeah.
right? Or for that matter, similar kind of issues. If you go to their website, most of the projects are about that.
yeah. But we
They
need to
are
go
not
beyond that.
telling them to actually invest their time in
Technology.
silicon technology or
There you
something
go.
else, right?
There you go. I mean, e-commerce is the future. We're also looking at Bitcoin. We don't have any platform where we can actually trade.
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is a tricky subject
It
all
is,
over the
but the
world.
state bank needs to start regulating. We have to open up to the world and see what the world is doing and where the world markets are moving. We have blockchain technology set up elsewhere.
Yeah.
Pakistan can-
Blockchain, I agree. But the problem with all these cryptos,
Regulation.
no, the cryptos is that a lot of it is grift, and we can see that what is happening to SBF and
Yeah.
others. That is.
There are all alternatives. Look, I mean, we still don't trade world markets in Pakistan.
Yeah.
We're primarily in an insulating environment, insulated economy. We're just trading local stocks. We can go way beyond this.
I'm told that we have to conclude in 2 minutes. So, Sardar Yasir, Ilyas Khan sir, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Dr. Sajid Awan, thank you very much, sir.
Honored, sir.
Yeah, not only this, you are also my class fellow.
Oh, yes.
We were together in a camp,
That's
right?
a great honor
So
for
that
me.
is also great. Honor for me as well. Thank you very much, sir, for being part
Thank
of the
you.
program. Viewers, the transmission will continue, but our panel will change. We have to take a break. When we come back, we are going to resume right from here. Take a break.